Before we start this week's episode, just letting you all know that we're having a 2-week break after this week's episodes. It is the summertime. Lots of stuff is going on, but we just need a couple of weeks break just to recharge our batteries. So do not expect any episodes on the Patreon feed or the free feed for the next 2 weeks. Also, Wreckfest Gamer Night, Friday the 18th, 8:30pm till late. Be there or be square. Xbox only. Join the party chat. Just search for me, Webby360G. All are welcome. Join in. Have some fun. See you there. Have some fun. Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 176 for Tuesday, the 15th of August, 2023. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag, PearsonID, SteamID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
Fuck Ubisoft and their shitty broken games, Nick Fights.
And Sensei Switch. Obviously, we'll find out what that's about.
Yeah, Nick, what's going on?
Well, do you want me to just start? Well, that's the game I was playing, so I just say what happened, just rather than leave waiting.
I know what game you was playing the last time we spoke to you, so is it that?
Yeah. Watch Dogs.
Legion.
Start if you want, just go into it. Basically,
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Broken. Like I said, I was playing it. This game's been out, 3 years now? It's like 2020, so it's been out a long time. And like I said to you, I've been streaming it and enjoying it and playing it off stream as well, doing side missions. I must have clocked up about 15 hours, really enjoying it. And like I said, I had a lot of people come into my stream, said, this game is broken, you're going to lose your save. And I was like, oh, internet trolls, grow up. Ubisoft said they fixed this after 10 days on Xbox with a patch. Yeah, they were right and Ubisoft were wrong. So I was basically, I was playing it and streaming the game. And like I said, enjoying the game for what it was, starting to get into it and doing the main missions. And there's a mission where you go underground, and it's like a loading screen with an elevator, and it just sat there for about 4 minutes. I was like, ew, okay. So I could hear it, but it wasn't doing anything. So I pressed, start, nothing happened. So, I could go back to the dashboard on Xbox, but nothing would, I couldn't do anything. So I was like, all right, well, guess I'm going to have to, close the game and restart it. So I closed the game, restarted it, and it was like, okay, load the game up. New game. I was like, no, load my game. I was like, you don't have a load game. It's completely wiped. Because you cannot manually save. It's only auto-save, through the thing. And this is what pretty much loads of people are still complaining about. So, because the game basically crashed, and it also wiped my save completely, and there's no way of me getting it back. It's because I tried to, clear the cache and, load, when you reinstall a game, it loads your save back up from the cloud, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it wipes that.
That's
as well.
Fucking bollocks.
Because it's only that. And loads of people say, when you look on the home screen of, the game, it's just loads of adverts for the microtransactions and the money to buy, in-game clothes and buy the first 2 games and all the DLC. All that is there, but the game's still broken. And I looked online, Reddit and all that, things like that, and people are like, yeah, it's still broken, and Ubisoft just refused to acknowledge it.
That's very poor.
Not having a manual save is the most stupid thing of all time, unless you're playing an always online game and your progress is saved to their servers.
Yeah, but the worst thing that would happen is if you lost, that you would lose your what you've done since the servers have gone down, because they'll back it up somehow. Whereas this, it just overwrites everything, so it's not And I think it can be always online. But like I said, I was really enjoying the game and some of the stuff. And there was I said, I was doing the side missions, and there was basically Assassin's Creed ones where you basically sort of like cross over with Assassin's Creed. So you run around doing like Assassin's missions. And there's a bit where you go under London in like all tunnels, and you're doing like like Eagle Vision, doing loads of puzzles and stuff like that. And then you get like unlock like clothes and stuff. Like a hoodie and like with the Assassin's Creed logo and things like that. Like what Desmond would wear in the future, not in the thing. And you're like, oh, this is really good. And I'm just like, I must have had 4 or 5 people come into my stream. I think 2 people who I did know from before, and like some other just people, just whatever, first time viewers. And they're like, yeah, you're gonna lose your save, mate. So I'm like, when I was there, I was like, oh, are we gonna start again? I was like, no. What? How can I do? Because it'll happen again, won't it?
Yeah.
I could put another 10, 15 hours to get back to exactly where I was, and
That's
it's gone.
Bollocks. That is bollocks, though.
I couldn't believe that the game didn't have a manual save, because when I initially played it, because I have it as well, I was looking, like, trolling through the like boards and all that kind of stuff, like trying to figure out how to save the game, and then it was like, oh no, there's no save, and I thought, what?
Yep.
Like, who thought that was any kind of a good idea? Like, any kind of a good idea that you're going to leave something up to a game to decide when it's going to save or not? Because I think I've done it where I've done a load of shit, turn the game off, save's still there, but it's like about half hour back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like bad. But like I say, with this, basically it wipes your save, and there's like loads of it. I was like obviously trying to get it back, and they were like, on Xbox, yeah, you're screwed. Whereas what people are doing on PC now, and like I said, it still doesn't work on PC. I say every time you finish the save, they want you to like go into your files and like copy it to a separate drive.
What?
So when it wipes it, you can like drag and drop those save files back into the folder. So yeah, it's broken on Xbox, broken on PC, and apparently it's slightly better on PlayStation, but not by much. Like I said, it's still the same thing. But I mean, I've had this before, and I think it's not just you. So you remember Battlefield 4, Webby? Like because that was like a launch game for Xbox and PS4.
Stuff, yeah.
That had a thing where very similar. Like I think it was something to do with like the quick resume thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas basically, and it's still broken like now, and then you're talking 9 years later, that you have to save the game, come out of the game, and close the quick resume. Because if you load back into it, if you left it running like in the campaign on a quick resume, as soon as you jump back in on quick resume, it just wipe your save and start you from the beginning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hate quick resume. I fucking hate it. I've never used it, and it's awful and just gets in the way.
Like I said, in theory, it works, but because they always want you to be online, and it just does, like I said, it just doesn't work. Sometimes it does, but you get back to it and you think, well, is it actually going to save my game if I save? Is it going to unlock achievements and trophies when I start the game up from that? So a lot of times if I go back, I'll think, no, I won't risk it. I'll quit the game and start it again, a fresh load just in case, because it just doesn't work. And I just don't, why would people need to have, like, I think it's even more on the PS5 and, Series X. I think you could have like 5 or 6 games on the go at once. Well, why would you do that? It's like, so I'm waiting for a match in Fortnite to load, so I'll jump into another game for like a minute until it loads and then go back to it. But then you wouldn't know if the games that you're waiting for has started up again because you can't see it. And 9 times out of 10, if you do that and you go back to the game, because it's always online, it disconnects you for being
idle it shuts it off anyway, yeah.
So it's like, it's not really any point. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I was enjoying what I played of it, and I'm just done. I can't play I don't think I closed the game at all from because I didn't want to risk losing it. But yeah, like I said, a few people there played it for like 3 or 4 hours, lost everything. 6 hours, lost everything. You know, I know a bit. What was it? There's some people on there said they played for like 60, 70 hours, and it just wipes their save, and they're like, "Yep, you're screwed."
I remember
bullshit.
Peep saying he had issues with it, but I don't
Yeah.
think he lost his save. I think it was something else.
Like I said, I think this came out in like October time, like mid-October, and then Ubisoft said, "Yeah, we're aware of a save game glitch. It will be done in the first patch, the first week of December, like after like a week or two." And as far as they're concerned, it's done. They don't care, even though there's just loads. Whereas if you go on their, website and do that, like on the forums and the community forums, they'll just delete your post.
It's fucking
So
awful,
they just
isn't
do
it?
not give a shit. Yeah, it's just bad, man. It's just. But what can you do?
Get a refund.
Well, I bought it like for like 12 quid, like 2 Christmases ago, because I thought, wow, Watch Dogs is really cheap. I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just what can you do? Games, they don't work anymore. And like I said,
I never had that problem. So I was lucky,
Yeah.
because I managed to finish it. You see, so
Yeah, but did you play it on PC or
yeah, PC
Steam or something like that? But yeah, it's not that. I don't think it's that long. I think you could bang through the story in about 15 to 18 hours. Like
Yeah.
if you just mainline the story, probably a little bit less. But like I said, I just don't want to invest any more time in it, because if it happens again, like I say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
But hey ho. But yeah, so I remember on stream, I played a different game, and at the end of the stream, I just showed the game case, and I just sort of knocked it flying against the wall. So it probably won't work anymore anyway.
Lols.
Maybe feel better.
Yeah.
Rage!
I didn't actually rage, because it's more just the establishment that these companies can just ignore these problems.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
And deliberately go out of their way to like block posts about save bugs, and they're probably hiring people to deliberately delete all these posts, because they're like, no, it's not broken. And it's not like it's a hard thing to fix, is it? Just put manual saves in it. They can update it to actually make the game good. Like Cyberpunk, that was kind of glitchy.
See, I don't even
people,
understand
but they fixed it.
why. Yeah, I can understand with certain games why there isn't manual saves, because they don't want people to sort of cheat the system, save scum, all that kind of stuff. But as far as I know, there's nothing like that in Watch Dogs. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
There's no advantage or anything that you can steal from people by being able to manually save the game.
No, I think it's just shoddy development, to be honest. But like I said, a lot of them are, it's not knocking anyone who do it. It's just, you think the basics of video game, does it save? I mean, we've all lost saves before, we've gone back, but that's because we lost a memory card or something, or, we were, having multiple saves, in like Final Fantasy games. We've all done that. You must have done it, Webby, where you like, oh, I'm saving, but I don't want to lose my 150-hour save.
Yeah.
I'm doing a second playthrough, and you accidentally press like down on the D-pad twice and overwrite that save. That's sort of your own fault. But with this, I was like, there's nothing I could have done any differently. This is, it's just bad game design.
Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one game I played.
Nice, mate. Well, going from a shit game then to a really good game, I completed the main story for Baldur's Gate 3. And I completed it before Sly Almond finished the game. I feel like that's a big achievement. Because you know what Sly's like at finishing games.
Finishes them in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But I have to say, fucking amazing. And this is the first game in a long time where I've completed the campaign, and then literally as soon as I finished it, I started a brand new game straight away. and I'm
Has it got
about
New Game Plus, or does
no,
it start?
no, just start again. I'm about 15 hours into my second playthrough now, and I have to say, I think I did rush it a little bit because I completed it in just over 40 hours. And
Well, it's not rushed then, is it? If it's 40 hours, mate, you got your money's
well,
worth.
there's easily over 100 hours content, easily, probably more, because
Isn't there like different like story arcs depending on what you select and that type of thing?
yeah, different story arcs. You can like do so many different things, use different magic, solve things in different ways, different side quests. It's so easy to miss stuff in this game. Because there's only 3 acts in the game, but they're quite long each, depending on how long you take. And it's all kind of like not an open. Well, it's kind of like each act is its own kind of open area, if that makes sense, for you to explore. And this very nuanced. There's a lot of content there, lots of characters to meet, loads of side quests. And I'm still on Act 1 on my second playthrough, and I have done missions in a completely different way than I did before. Made loads of different choices, and I've even found areas, like whole big areas, and done massive side quests that I never found the first time round, which is really, really cool. It has got to be one of the most polished games I've played in years, because it's come out. There's no issues with it. No DLC. None of this fucking battle pass bollocks. It's just a game for 40 quid. And it works. And it's fucking amazing. It's probably one of the best RPGs I've played in years, and I think this will probably be like a game of a generation, to be honest. It is that fucking good. Like the amount of stuff that you can do. So I've gone in, so I've actually created my own character this time, because first time round I went in and just took one of the characters, one of the standard ones, because I couldn't really figure out the create a character thing. But the second time round I figured it out. So I made my own character, gave him massive cock, just like real life, and I went and that in itself was really cool, because obviously like the character I played as the first time round, I actually met him on my second playthrough, so he's in my squad, if that makes sense, which is really cool. And I'm talking to him and stuff like that. So that's really cool. But I like it because you can have 4 characters in your group at once, and the ones that aren't in your group to walk around and fight with are in the camp. So you can rest whenever, go to camp and swap characters around anyway, which is pretty good. And they all have different positives and negatives. All have different abilities, like fighters, mages, shit like that. And then as you upgrade them, you can upgrade people for different magics and stuff. And like they have like magics that you don't. It's really weird because I look at some of them and I think, well, that'd be fucking useless. But then like you don't only use magic in battle. It's just in the normal gameplay of things. So you can get into areas by doing different things. Like I was. As an example, and this, I'm trying not to give spoilers, but I was in an area of the game and I wanted to get into this locked room for this side mission, but there was like someone guarding it, and like so whenever you went up to the door, well, they weren't standing in front of the door, but they were watching over it, if that makes sense. So whenever you clicked on the door, it was like, you are being watched. Best not, try to go in there. And I was like, what the fuck can I do here? So what I did is I completely forgot, because I was stuck on this bit for ages. Then I remembered that one of my characters, like as I was leveling them up, I gave them the magic to turn enemies into sheep. So I tried it, turned this guy who was watching over the door into a sheep, and then I unlocked the door. I picked the lock and went in. I was like, fucking hell, man, this is really cool. You know what I mean? So there's all these different. You have to really think outside the box to do a lot of the tasks in the game, if that makes sense, and really remember what kind of magics all your characters have, because you choose them all, and there's loads to choose from, and you will never have them all available, if that makes sense, because as you level, there's only 12 levels per character, right? And then as you level them up, like if they, you can give them different magics and shit like that. But you'll never get up to a level where you can have everything, if that makes sense. So you need to be quite selective with what you choose. So that's something that I learned from my first playthrough, to be honest, because like on my second playthrough, I'm really thinking about it a lot more, choosing things that are quite odd, but have helped me in side missions. The game reminds me kind of like The Witcher in many aspects, with its really good storyline, really good characterization, really good voice acting, but obviously in that isometric style. But the exploration's amazing. Like, you really feel like you're part of the world. And just so much to still do. And you can pretty much talk to anyone in the world and have a conversation with them. And then if you have a perk, which and then there's like a magic that you can have to put on yourself to talk to animals as well. So if you have that, you can talk to random animals, and they'll end up like you'll end up having some really cool conversations with the animals, and end up doing like even more side missions and stuff like that. So it's really worth, I would say, not doing what I did on my first run through. Like, take your time with it, explore the world, talk to everyone. There's so much to see and do. And one other bit of advice I will give, especially towards the end of the game in the final act, I would say, is don't get disheartened if you can't figure stuff out of where to go, because the game does not hold your hand really at all when it comes to like waypoints and stuff. Especially towards the end of the game, you just be like, it's just like a general thing of, oh, you need to do something. I'm not going to spoil it. And I was spending ages like trying to figure out like where the fuck am I going to go, and I ended up just kind of thinking, well, I'm just going to explore, talk to people and stuff. I just figured it out as I went, because I bumped like side missions come up, which helped me with the main mission, and met characters that gave me tips and things like that. So in depth. It really is. It is, I have to say, like, because I wasn't really looking into the game before it properly come out or anything like that. It was kind of a surprise to me when it came out, if that makes sense, because I wasn't, you know, like you do when you get excited for games, like watching YouTube videos and previews and shit like that. I just didn't have any knowledge really of the game, to be honest. And I think it was a really cool way to go into it, because I went in blind and I've just been blown away by it. You know, I mean, it goes to show, you know, it's now the highest rated game on Metacritic since 2017. I've not seen anyone talk about it in a negative light online at all, which is amazing for a game in this day and age where you get games which come out half finished, bugs, glitches, having to buy all this other bollocks. It just feels like going back to the glory days of gaming, where a game would come out and it's done and it's fucking awesome, and you pay your 50, 60 quid or whatever, and that's it, and you just enjoy the game, you know? So, you know, give credit where credit's due. And like, this year has been amazing, because every game, like I've had about 4 different game of the years so far this year. Like, I'll play a game and be like, oh, that's amazing. And then the next game comes and I'm like, oh my God, it's even better than the last one. We've had such a great year for games this year. And this has really put it over the edge, in my opinion. Like, it's just such quality. I absolutely love it. And you know, I think it's going to be hard to beat, to be honest. I really do. I know we've still got some good games to come out this year, so I'm not going to go out and say, oh, this will be game of the year, but I'll be very surprised if it isn't in the lists, at least. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for PlayStation gamers to get it next month, because you're really in for a treat. And then obviously
Xbox is getting it like next year because of something to do with the Series X and S, I heard.
Yeah, so basically, we briefly talked about it last week. So, because Xbox, they need to have console parity between the S and X versions, and they can't get the co-op to run on the S because it's not powerful enough, apparently. They've had to delay it until they can get it to work.
Someone actually brought up the thing that, like, he was like, it was on my Twitter feed. They said, I'm really glad that obviously Xbox people are going to get to experience Final Fantasy 14 next year.
Yeah.
But he said, we've literally just ditched older platforms because of their technical limitations. Are you telling me now everything with Final Fantasy 14 has to be held back by the fucking Series S? And I was like, he's kind of got a point.
Well, to be fair, mate, Final Fantasy XIV runs on the Steam Deck really well, and that's a handheld, so I don't think the S will have any problems.
Yeah, but this is before they're doing all of these new technical updates with the next expansion. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I've had even conversations with people on the PS5, because obviously on the PS5 the game runs at like what do you call it? Like a 4K, but not native 4K.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Checkerboard.
No, it's not checkerboard. It's like a 1440p kind of thing, which is known as technically 4K, but it's kind of not. It's like a upscaled or downscaled. But anyway, it runs smooth as fuck at like that resolution, and we was like, if this new textures and all these other stuff they add in, if they're actually going to affect the performance, like, I don't want it, because it's kind of sweet. And I said, well, technically, they might actually do all of that back end on their own servers, the game servers themselves, rather than actually having that on people's whatsits, because it's obviously the stuff that's loading in, isn't it, as you're going into that server area.
I think I'll be
so
fine.
Yeah, but I thought that was kind of funny when someone did bring that up. I still have no idea why the Series S even exists.
To listen to the rest of this week's awesome episode, you need to subscribe to the Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com/360gamercast to get access to the rest of this week's awesome episode and all our previous exclusive episodes for the Patreon. So again, patreon.com/360gamercast.